Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing my first ever monthly wrap-up because it's the end of January. I have a lot of books. I read a lot this month. I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about them and what I thought and all that good stuff. This is the stack that I have. Ooh. So I'm just gonna do a little synopsis of each thing, a general overview of what I thought and what I rated it. Otherwise, I have full reviews on each of these books on my blog, which is linked down below if you are interested. Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna start out with the ones that I liked the least this month and end with the ones that I liked the most this month, okay? So first things first, I'm gonna start with the Scorch Trials by James Dashner. This is the second book in the Maze Runner series, and pretty much it follows Thomas and the Gladers as they go through what's called the Scorch. Pretty much the whole point is for them to get from point A to point B in a certain amount of time and not die, right? So that's pretty much it. That's the whole point. And overall, I didn't really care for this book. I had the hardest time wanting to read this in the first place, but I bought the Maze Runner movie and I watched it and I was like, okay, I'm kind of motivated to read it again. And I did, but oh gosh, I had to force myself to finish it. I just couldn't do it. I didn't really care for the new characters that were brought in. I didn't really care for Thomas because he was like a whiny baby the whole time. And then the climax of the story just doesn't make sense to me, although probably it'll be talked about later in the other books, but for the most part, I just felt like this book didn't need to happen. So I'm pretty put off of the series. I might not continue it, so I'm interested to see how the movie comes out later this year. Otherwise, I rated this a 2.5 out of 5. It was okay. But next on my list was Dead Witch Walking by Kim Harrison. This was another thing. I had it for last month's TBR, but I just never got around to reading it. And then finally I finished it this month. Kind of like with the Scorch Trials, it took me forever to get through. This is about a girl named Rachel Morgan who works at a supernatural bureau, so she's pretty much like a cop, but she tries to quit, and in doing so, her ex-partner Ivy, who is like the golden poster child of the company, decides to quit with her, and in doing so causes her boss to send out a death warrant for her. So pretty much the whole book is her trying to, one, not die, and two, try and capture a guy so she can get paid a lot of money to pay off her old boss so she, again, doesn't have to die. At first I found Rachel relatively annoying. I really liked her surrounding characters though. I thought they were more interesting than she was. Overall, it got better as I continued to read it, so that's a plus. Otherwise, it was okay once I got done with it. It was a very big setup book. This is completely set up for the rest of the series. So like if I were to continue on, I know it'd probably be badass, but for the most part, I didn't really care. I don't really care to. So yeah, I gave this a 3 out of 5. Okay, third on my list might come as a shock for people, but it's The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Now this is about a circus that kind of just pops up out of nowhere overnight and it travels around the whole world. And two magicians, one is the woman, this one, her name is Celia, and this guy named Marco, and they're part of a competition where they have to pretty much outdo each other, and in the end, we as the reader know one is gonna be left for dead and the other is gonna be left alive. I liked it, I didn't think it was amazing, but I did enjoy it. I liked the concept, I liked the characters, and I liked the overall layout of this book because it goes from different point of views and also different points in time. So it adds a lot of layering, and there's also some really cool chapters that are in second person. So I thought that was really great, but otherwise for the most part, I wasn't too moved by it. I still thought it was a relatively good read. I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5. Next on my list was The Inheritance by Louisa Alcott. Now this is a tiny book, tiny book. Otherwise, this is one of those things where it's exactly what you think it's gonna be. It's super Pride and Prejudice-y. It's obviously set in the 1800s, young, wealthy, fall in love, exactly what you think it's gonna be, it is. So it delivered and it delivered well. It's about this girl named Edith, was an Italian orphan, and she comes to live with this family as kind of like the governess for the daughter Amy. Years later, his friend pays visit to the family named Percy, and you know, they kind of like fall in love, right? I mean, like, there's really, like, you know it's gonna happen. It's exactly what you think it is. Otherwise, it was a nice quick read, and yeah, I enjoyed it. So I gave this one a 4. Next is How to Fall by Jane Casey. Now, I know a lot of people were interested in this book, but otherwise it's about this girl named Jess Tennant, who's 16, who gets pulled by her mom to go visit her cousins who she never met at all at any point in her lifetime because her cousin, Freya, died. And when she gets to this town, everybody looks at her as if she was Freya because they look so alike. And so she tries to figure out what happened to Freya, like how she died, and why everybody is so secretive when it comes to answering questions about Freya. And I personally really like this book, particularly because of Jess, because she's so aggressive. Like, I hate it when you as a reader read a book and you just know everybody's just spilling bullshit, but the main character is just like, it just goes over their head, you know? It's just like, come on. But no, Jess isn't like that. She calls everybody out. She's, you know, when they're lying to her face, she's like, why are you lying to me? I know you're lying, you know? So she aggressively goes and looks for what she wants to know, and I thought that was pretty great. The only thing I didn't like, if at all, was the way she went about doing things at one point. I just don't think it was like that creative. I feel like she could have been so much smarter about it. But otherwise, it's a great read. It's a great mystery, great thriller. I highly recommend it. I gave this a 4 out of 5. Now comes to my favorite reads of the month. First and foremost is Soulless by Gail Carriger. So I saw Lindsay Ray talking about this. I was just like, after watching her video, I had to have it. I bought it and I was gonna save this for next month, but since I read through all the books that I had this month, I went ahead and started reading it, and I finished it in one sitting. This is an awesome book. So it's about this girl named Alexia Terabati, and she's soulless, which means that when she touches supernatural beings, they turn human. Pretty much the science behind it is kind of like those who are supernatural have excess soul. They have too much soul, so it kind of counterbalances stuff. So otherwise what happens is she accidentally murders a vampire, and a whole bunch of stuff blows up, and they think she's like murdering everybody, and it's pretty crazy. But what I love most about this book is just Alexia. She is so funny. She's so quick on her feet, and she's so witty, and she has such a sharp tongue that it makes for some really entertaining moments. I fully plan on buying the rest of the series. I can't wait. I loved this book. I gave this one a 5 out of 5. Like, heck yes. And last but not least, I've mentioned it a couple times so far in past videos, but my favorite book this month was The Rose Garden by Susanna Kearsley. Can we talk about this cover too as well? It's so romantic and just beautiful, right? Just like the colors. Okay, anyways, if you are sick and tired of hearing about this book, I am sorry, but seriously, I love this. This is kind of also gives you that Pride and Prejudice-y feel, where it's like you know what's bound to happen, but it's still really nice when it does. And otherwise, it's about Eva, whose older sister dies, and she decides to take her ashes to the childhood house that they used to spend their summers at over in England. And while she's there, she decides to stay there because she has no family left. There's no reason to go back to America. And then she starts to time travel, but it's all connected to the house. And when she time travels, she goes back solely to the 1800s, where she meets Daniel Butler and his best friend Fergal and his brother Jack Butler, and you figure out all the stuff about conspiracies and things going on, and then otherwise romance, and it's pretty funny. I just really like this one. It's like my favorite. It delivered everything that I wanted. It progressed nicely. I loved the characters. I loved the historical aspect to it all, and I just love Susanna Kearsley's writing anyway, so just blew it out of the water. 5 out of 5 for this one. If you haven't read anything by Susanna Kearsley, I suggest you do. Okay, otherwise that's it. Now I have to rearrange things and put them away. Okay guys, thanks for watching guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do check out any of these books, please be sure to let me know in the comments below. Rate, comment, subscribe if I didn't already say that. Otherwise, I will check you guys out next time, okay? Thanks for watching. Bye.